Hi, I'm Becky. I love creating recipes for the Roanoker magazine for my Southern Spoonful column. I like to make them fun and easy and use as few ingredients as I can while still making them very flavorful. This time of year in the fall, my crock pot is my very best friend, and I'm going to show you how to make Mississippi pot roast. It's so easy, wonderful for your family, with the children being back in school and everybody's racing in different directions. You can just set this and forget it. I start with, for pot roast, a chuck roast. It's about, let's say about 3 pounds, and I'll put that right in the crock pot. And this only has 5 ingredients. Ranch dressing mix, and I'll just pour that over my roast. Then some au jus gravy mix. And then I'm going to add some Greek pepperoncini peppers. And you can use the ones that are whole that have the stems on them. Don't worry about the stems, they're very edible. Or you can get sliced ones. And I pour the juice and the peppers into my crock pot, just right over the roast. And this will give it such a nice peppery, spicy flavor. And then some butter, a stick of butter goes right in on top. And that's all there is to it. It's so easy, just set it and forget it. It'll cook for about 6 to 8 hours and it'll get fork tender. So you can just pull it apart, shred it with forks. And the aroma of this is going to be so fantastic as it cooks. You're going to get so hungry. So in a minute, I will show, or a few hours, I will show you how to present your Mississippi pot roast a couple different ways for your family. Our Mississippi pot roast is fork tender and ready to serve. I like to serve it with mashed potatoes, chive mashed potatoes that chives fresh out of my garden. It makes a lovely combination for just a beautiful dinner. Or you can make sliders. And I just put some cheese on my slider with, I used Havarti cheese today, but you can use provolone or mozzarella or any cheese that you like. I'm going to take a bite. I love the peppery flavor, and I know you're absolutely going to love this recipe for your family. Remember, just set it and forget it, and you'll have your dinner ready tonight. One of my favorite fall cocktails is a spiced apple ginger cocktail. It's made with hard apple cider, and I get this hard apple cider, it's just lovely, at Glad Heart Wine and Brews, locally. So I'm going to pour the apple cider into my cocktail shaker, along with some bourbon that I've mixed with a little bit of maple syrup, and I am going to add some bitters, and these are cinnamon bitters. I get these at Crystal Spring Grocery. And bitters are like the salt and pepper of the cocktail world. They don't have a strong in-your-face flavor, but you definitely miss them if they're not there. So add a few drops of bitters into your cocktail shaker. And then cover your cocktail shaker and give it a really good shake. You want to make sure that your ice crystals get nice and tiny and are distributed well through the drink. And that you do that by shaking your cocktail really well. I'm going to pour this into some ice in a highball glass. Isn't that a pretty fall color? And I'm going to top it with a little ginger beer. And for a garnish, I am going to garnish it with a nasturtium blossom. And nasturtiums are such a beautiful flower. They're actually edible, and they bloom all summer long and then into the fall, into the first frost. So that's one reason I love nasturtiums. So I'm going to take a little sip. So refreshing on a crisp autumn day. Cheers. As an accompaniment to my Mississippi pot roast, I'm going to make Southern Spoonbread. And if you've never tried Spoonbread before, You need to make it today. It is that good. This is one of my favorite Southern Spoonful recipes. In my pan, I've mixed water and some white cornmeal mixed with flour. And this is a mix that I get just at the grocery store. And usually you use a yellow cornmeal in the Spoonbread, but I like the white cornmeal because it's less gritty than the yellow cornmeal. So it has a nice smooth texture. I'm going to add some butter to the cornmeal that I've heated up with the water, and I'm going to let that melt. And then I'm going to add some buttermilk. And a lot of times buttermilk comes in a big container, and I don't have a use for a lot of buttermilk. I just use it in my baking usually. So I like to just mix milk with vinegar or lemon juice. About a cup of milk and a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice, and it makes a great substitute for baking in my Spoonbread. So I'm going to mix the buttermilk in, and then I am going to add some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add a little sugar because we Southerners do like to put a little bit of sugar in our baked goods. Makes it just a little bit sweet. So I'll add that in. This is going to make a nice, smooth mixture batter for my Spoonbread. And Spoonbread, and the name kind of gives it away, is meant to be eaten with a spoon. So it's nice and soft, and it's getting all the cornbread or cornmeal incorporated. And now I'm going to add the butter that I use is Kerrygold butter. And I'd like to use Kerrygold butter in my baked goods. It's made with milk from Irish cows who eat all that lovely grass over in Ireland, and it just makes it a really good quality baked product. I also like to use this spoon made by Dream Farm, and you'll notice it sits up on the counter. So my spatulas were always getting my counters dirty, but with this spoon, that takes care of that, and I really like that little spoon. Now I'm going to add some egg yolks. And I want to whisk them in fairly quickly because I don't want my eggs to actually cook in the mixture. And since the mixture is still a little bit warm, I make sure that I mix them in very quickly. So that's all incorporated. Now my favorite part. I love folding. So I'm going to fold in egg whites. And folding is just fun when you're baking. So I'm going to fold this in. It's going to make a nice smooth batter. And I can't wait for you to taste this. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes in a 400-degree oven, and it seems like a long time when you're waiting because you know it's going to taste so good, but it's really done pretty quickly. And I prepared my pan, my cast iron pan, with 2 tablespoons of butter. I put it in the oven so the pan is nice and hot, the butter's melted, and I made sure it's on the bottom of the pan, and that way the crust is going to be really nice and golden. So I've incorporated all of my egg whites into my batter, and now I'm going to pour it into the pan, and I'm going to pop it in the oven. And when it comes out of the oven, I'll show you how I know that it's done, but it'll have a golden crust and it'll be so delicious. I can't wait for you to try it. I can't wait for you to try my Southern Spoonful Spoonbread. The way that I know that it's done, it's nice and crusty brown on top, and I just insert a sharp knife into the center and it comes out clean. So that means that my Spoonbread is ready to serve, and I can't wait. As promised, the crust on the outside is nice and brown and crusty, and it's golden and smooth inside. Well, I think I'll just serve up a big serving for me. I could actually eat the whole pan. But I'm going to put some butter on my Spoonbread because Spoonbread is meant to be served with butter. A little bit of butter is good, and a lot of butter is really good. So I'm going to take a bite after my butter's melted a little bit. This is so good. It's creamy, absolutely fabulous. You are going to love this recipe. Your family's going to ask you to make it again and again, I promise. Now we're going to make a harvest salad dressing to go with my harvest apple salad. I'm making it in my blender. I'm going to add some maple syrup, some garlic, some chives out of my garden, fresh chives, and some thyme out of my garden, fresh thyme, a little bit of Dijon mustard. These are all wonderful autumn flavors, and some salt and pepper. And I am using Prosecco vinegar, but you could use white wine vinegar as well. And that's going to go right in my blender. I'm also using walnut oil, and because I have walnuts in my apple harvest salad, then this will go very well. It'll be a great pairing with my salad. If you were making an avocado salad, you might want to use avocado oil. So play around with your salad oils, and then the walnut or any nut oil you'll want to put in the refrigerator because they can go rancid. So these are, a rare commodity, so you want to take real good care of them. So we'll put the top on the blender, and the top has a little plastic insert. One of the reasons for that is because you want to emulsify your salad dressing. So you'll slowly pour the oil in, and that you can just pour it right in the top. Makes it really easy. So I'm going to turn the blender on and start to emulsify. Just a nice little stream of oil. And that makes a perfect harvest salad dressing that's going to be so pretty on the harvest apple salad. This is our harvest walnut apple salad, and it's perfect for this time of year, crisp and full of fall flavors. I'm using a Honeycrisp apple that I'm cutting into little pieces to start my salad. And I'm going to add that to our salad bowl. And I'm going to use radicchio. Radicchio is traditionally from Italy, and it's a member of the chicory family. It has a bitter, spicy taste, but a good bitter taste. It just adds a nice spice to the salad and such a beautiful purple color. If you can't find radicchio, you could always use red cabbage because that has a pretty color as well, and adds a little contrast to our red leaf lettuce, which I'm going to add next. So we'll add our radicchio to the bowl. It's also kind of fun to say, radicchio. I'm going to tear my lettuce, red leaf lettuce, into my bowl. Just kind of a rough tear. Then I'm going to add some fresh chives from my garden. And chives are wonderful. They will grow until really the first freeze. So you'll have them in your garden all summer and into the fall. Then I'm going to add some cheese. I'm adding some Havarti cheese today. You can add aged Gouda, shaved aged Gouda. Really any cheese that you like. You might even like to try some cheddar cheese. So I'm going to toss that around a little bit. And the next thing I'm going to add are some candied walnuts. And in Southern Spoonful in the Roanoker magazine, I have a recipe for candied walnuts. But if you're in a bit of a rush, you can always buy them already glazed. So these are the emerald glazed walnuts. And I'm just going to add some of those into the salad. So tasty. I'll toss that around a little bit. And then I'm going to add that wonderful harvest dressing that we made with the walnut oil. I'm just going to pour that on. And it's so pretty. I love the colors. It reminds me of fall. And that is our Harvest Walnut Apple Salad. I know you're going to love it.